been here last time I read may remember I read a story about Disneyland. This story has the word Disneyland in it, so that's my segue. Otherwise, they have nothing to do with each other. And this is the second shortest piece of fiction I've ever written. It's called Poor Thing. When the truck chugged to a stop at the crossroads, it was so fucking perfect I could have laughed if the girls hadn't been squealing behind me. All morning, they've sounded like 7 children, and there are only 2 crammed back there with my mixer and the sleeping bags and a dozen varieties of pink stuffed animals I couldn't ask them to leave behind. Why aren't we going? What about Disneyland? You said, Mom! I sigh and rest my head on the steering wheel. It's been more than an hour since I called the auto club, and they warned me it would take some time to get to the middle of nowhere. The gas gauge says the tank is still half full, but here we are, stalled at the edge of this dusty junction, like the freeze frame at the end of some movie where the main character has to make a choice the audience will never see. How ambiguous, I think. The stop sign in front of the truck is so sun-bleached it looks black and white against the thin stretched sky. I keep waiting for the girls to wear themselves out and quiet down. At least it isn't hot out. In movies, crossroads always look so hot. Mommy? Clara tries a different tack, puts her hand on my shoulder. She seems to revert to Mommy when I'm not acting enough like one. I drag my palms down my face and turn around. Annie, a year younger than her sister, sits with her mouth open. Clara must have pinched her to shut her up. A common tactic, but I don't have the wherewithal to scold her now. I told you, babe, we ran out of gas. I'm taking care of it. It doesn't look like you're taking care of it. I check the clock on my phone again. I never drive this piece of shit, but this time we need the space. Technically, though, my name is on the pink slip too, so it's not like we have to worry about any stolen vehicle reports. I didn't know the gas gauge was as useless as the house key I threw into my purse this morning on the way out of habit. When I shut the front door quietly behind us, Annie's sleepy grip in my own, the stars had just begun to absorb back into the sky. I'd loaded garbage bags of clothes into the bed of the truck in the pre-dawn hours while the girls were still asleep. Fine, stay put, I tell them, and swing the door open into the empty road. I need a break from their practice shrillness. Old maps, tucked between the seat and the door, catch on my foot and fall to the dust as I climb out. They're folded all wrong, have been for years. I step over them and slam the door harder than I mean to. The girls climb over the back seat and press their schmutzy faces against the windshield, the glass clotted with the phlegmy remains of moths. Clara screamed when we first drove through the fluttering cloud. You're killing them, Mom, you're killing them. The one champagne truck is almost the same color as the road, and for a second I imagine it is a mirage, that at any moment it and the girls will just swirl away in a blast of wind and grit. The middle of nowhere sounds like the inside of a conch shell, all hollowness and air. I circle to the front of the truck and pop the hood so the girls can't see me. They don't know where the gas tank is. They don't know I can't afford to take them to Disneyland. As I press against the grill and lean pointlessly over the engine, thinking that crying might be a good way to pass the time until AAA arrives, I feel something soft struggle and then give against the weight of my stomach. I step back. Wedged in the truck's metal grimace is a small dark bird, maybe the size of a fist. It hangs there, as if from medieval stalks, feathers bent in every direction. It looks dead, except for the tiny beak, which opens and closes very slowly. Oh my God, I whisper. I can't leave it there. The poor thing. I don't want to touch it, but I do, putting 2 fingers from each hand under each demolished wing and guiding the bird up and out from the metal bars. It flinches a bit. This must hurt it. The grill has cooled enough for me to touch, but when the bird is finally in my palm, it feels wet and limp like a soggy mass of paper towels, and I realize some of its feathers have been burned away by the heat of the metal, gelatinous blood oozing from a large blister on its back. It smells like singed hair. I gag. I almost throw the bird down. Mom! At the worst possible moment, the girls start up again. Haven't they used up their daily quota of exclamation points by now? Mom, what are you doing? It sounds like they roll the windows down. I can't let them see this. They've been through enough, especially Annie, who's already begun to retreat into her princess storybooks more than I would like. For now, the popped hood is still shielding me and this shattered creature from their line of sight. Stay in the car. Do not come out here. Do you hear me? But we're bored. Shut up, Clara. Just stop it, I shout, and she does. Her older sister bravado dries up, and I immediately feel terrible. But the bird squirms, and I know my first priority now is not to be a mother, but to put this pathetic lump of feathers out of its misery. Still cradling it in my left hand, I look for something that can help me. If the truck was running, I could put the bird in front of a tire and just quietly roll over it. I think of Claire's wiffle ball bat, wedged somewhere in the back seat. But the girls start to murmur and whine again, and I know I can't go back to the truck with this bird in my hand. I can't think straight. Mommy? That's Annie's tentative, red-like voice. Her sister must be coaching her again. Jesus, can't they keep quiet for even a second? I hear the click of the door. The bird stirs again, like one of my daughters having a strange dream, and a barely audible moan comes from somewhere deep inside it, more a vibration than a sound. Poor thing. It is so light, I can barely feel the weight of its empty little bones in my hand. Its eyes are closed. I wipe my right palm on my jeans to dry the sweat, grip the marble-sized skull between fingers, and snap.